strength, healing, and hope. We go beyond treatment to redefine what compassionate care truly means. That's Tanner Health. That's care redefined. Learn more at tanner.org.
Do the math. At Oak Mountain Academy, our average graduating class has just 12 students. We celebrate a 100% graduation rate with more than $10.5 million in college scholarships offered. Plus, 96% of our students are accepted into their top choice college. Do the math. Can you see the value of an OMA education? I'm Patrick Uran, head of school at Oak Mountain Academy, and I'm here to help you do the math. For more information, visit us at oakmountain.us so that you can discover your journey on the mountain, where every path leads to purpose.
National headlines and the local stories you care about. WLBB, Carrollton. News Talk 1330, FM 106.3.
All right, good Thursday morning. Welcome to the WLBB Community Voice here on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3, streaming live online at newstalk1330.com, the News Talk 1330 WLBB app. And this morning we're on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page, streaming live there and during the program. If you feel free to put any comments or questions you have for our guest, who I'll introduce here in just a second. If you pay attention to the Community Voice program at all, you know that we've been trying to go back and do a lot of history programs of Carroll County based on the 200th birthday of Carroll County, which is coming up in June. Yeah, in June. And so we've been doing those shows off and on whenever we get the opportunity. And today is the first day of baseball season. And I know yesterday they played a game, but that doesn't count because baseball season starts when the Cincinnati Reds play. That's checking that fact. But it's baseball season, so kind of mixing those two together in today's show. We've got a young man who lives here locally, and he's authored two books. One of them was Shoeless Summer, about Shoeless Joe Jackson, I think, playing in Americus, right?
Yeah, my hometown Americus.
Yeah. And the other book is called Pickle It, Minor League Baseball of Carrollton, Georgia. And it's a great book. If you get a chance to check that out, I think Feathers and Twigs has it at the moment, and it's on Amazon as well. So, but great book. I mean, you can bust it out in a couple of days, but just reference, you'll refer back to it later, just looking up stats and people's names and things like that, so it's fascinating. Gentleman this morning's name is John Bell, and we're calling you minor league historian and author.
I'll take it.
All right,
that sounds
very
good.
John,
Yeah,
thanks for
absolutely.
coming out.
Thanks for having me.
It's a decade ago, I think, you were on this show.
It's been a while. Yeah, been a minute.
And we did promote this book, and I own both. I think I paid for one of them.
Oh,
I did pay for
well,
one.
I appreciate
the other
that.
one you
I'll give you a refund if you like.
But many people do know that Carrollton did have a minor league baseball team for several years, and it turned out to be off and on. It was, it was weird how it was, stuttered out. But yeah, take us back to that situation, like in the early 1900s, in the 20s and 30s. What minor league baseball was like, because they weren't affiliated with major league teams.
No, not always. In fact, most of the time, and I'll start by saying that the teams that played in Carrollton were all what were known as Class D. So right now, everybody's familiar with Class A, Double A, Triple A. There's High A.
There's no rookie league anymore either.
Not necessarily. No, they basically we'll call it instructional league now. So you'll see that a good bit, but it's not the same as what rookie league once was. It's kind of been redefined. But yeah, so it went actually deeper than, like, A is the lowest level we have now. So it went, there was B, there was C, and then there was D. And then in one instance, there was a league that had, they called themselves E-League, and they were just a bunch of guys playing ball. Anyway, but yeah, all the teams in Carrollton over the years were Class D. Started in 1920 was the first year, and Carrollton had a team in 1920 and 21. Then disbanded for a while, then started back up in 1928 and went through 1930, and then teams stopped again for a while. And then in 1946, again, Carrollton had an affiliated, I say affiliated, they were a member of the National Association, which was the governing body of minor league baseball at the time. So most teams were not affiliated with major league clubs, but there were some that were. And that's referenced in the book that, any of the teams that Carrollton was playing against, they could be affiliated with a major league club, but at that deep of a level, a lot of times they weren't.
And are these semi-professional or professional, or is it? It's
It's technically professional. Semi-professional is are leagues that are not really affiliated with the National Association, not really affiliated directly with Major League Baseball. Some players would come out of semi-pro. Like right now, you do see some that are playing in, say, the Pioneer League. Some of these independent leagues that we have around
New York and New Jersey.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess, since we talked about your book, Pickle It, where does that come from, that phrase?
Okay, so in one of the early years, there was it was 1920 and 21, there was, the field was off of South Street over there.
I didn't want to ask you that.
Yeah. And so there were pickling vats.
That's where the senior center is now, right?
That's where the team would play in later years. So that was built later on. But early days, it was so off of South Street where Aycock Street is. There's an intersection there, and there are houses there, and there's several other things along in there now. It seems like there are always railroad tracks. If you've ever been to minor league baseball game, there's typically railroad tracks somewhere close by, right? Anyways, that's just a tradition that seems to have stuck. But yeah, that's where the field was. And on the opposite side of the outfield fence, there was a couple of large pickling vats. There was a company that pickled cucumbers there, made pickles. And so fans would start to yell, "Pickle it," when they wanted to see a player hit a home run. So if it was a guy who was known to hit long balls, then they might yell "Pickle it," which literally meant to hit it over to the pickling vats.
And when you started the research for this book, did you already have a name? Obviously, Pickle It probably wasn't it when you started.
I was going to go with something completely, just descriptive, like
baseball and Carrollton.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I had no name. You always have a working title, but it was pretty boring. And so I was really glad when I discovered this. I thought, we've got our title, I think.
How about the names? We got 10 combined seasons, right? But again, staggered.
Yeah. So the early days, the 1920 and 21, there was no nickname for the team. They were just Carrollton Ball Club, Carrollton Baseball Club, Carrollton Team, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure some of the opposing teams had nicknames for them when they were beating them. So, that always happens. 1928, they were the Carrollton Frogs. And this came from a contest that was run in the newspaper to name the team. And Frogs seemed to have been the suggestion that was accepted. I don't know what the other suggestions were. I can only imagine if Frogs was the best one. So anyway, but that 28 team won the pennant for the league, and so in 29 and 30 called themselves Carrollton Champs, since you win the pennant, and didn't win the pennant in 1929 again, but I guess they like calling themselves the Champs, so they did it again in 1930. And then 1940 and 46, Carrollton Hornets is what we had.
Now that was with Copeland?
Yeah, Harvey Copeland.
Because I did have his son on. I mean, this has been 15 years ago, and I replayed that show once or twice because he's passed away since then. Mm-hmm. But he gave us a little bit of insight of that.
Yeah, Harvey was very interesting to talk to.
He was a big athlete too. I think he was a star football player.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
But why did they stop playing at the end of those years? Why was it so staggered?
So during I think the Great Depression had something to do with the team not surviving past 1930, and then there were some teams that were just sort of like pickup league teams, semi-pro, sort of loose association kind of. You may have a team, and you say we have a team in Carrollton, and so let's call our friends over in Cedartown and see if they want to play a game with us, that kind of thing. In the 40s, baseball was picking up. After World War II, everybody was ready to do something fun, and so baseball seemed to be it. Television wasn't very widespread at the time, so your local baseball team was your entertainment for the summer, and then TV came along, which is why after it's typically around the mid-50s, a lot of leagues didn't survive, and by 1962, the lower classes of baseball were completely just gone. Attendance had dropped way off, just mainly because television was there, and we could actually see our major league teams that we liked on TV at the time.
When you think about the high point of attendance for these games, we 1,000 people, we get 5,000.
Yeah, sometimes you would, you'd have. It depended on the ballpark. Most ballparks would hold maybe a couple of thousand people, and sometimes if it was a big game, if it was later in the season, maybe a playoff game, maybe a championship game, the place would be overflowed. You've seen the old pictures of fans just standing along the foul lines, all the way down.
Yeah, they are the foul line.
Yeah, exactly. I know, all along the outside, the outfield fence, they would just be all around the ballpark, outside the park. So just trying to catch a glimpse of the game. So you could have some pretty good sized crowds then.
So South Street and Aycock, That was the first one in the teens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And,
yeah.
And then when the senior center, I mean, there's still bleachers
Right.
up on the hill. Was that part of the?
That's the original bleachers that are still there. I know that the high school used that as the football field after the baseball team was not playing there anymore. But the stands went around. That was the third base side over there where those bleachers are still.
Wish we could denote that somehow. And mark it. It deserves a historical marker.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
in the
Exactly.
city of
I
Carrollton.
think so.
Let's get on David Brooks and, and Betty Case.
The picture on the cover of the book is the stands there. So that's the ball sitting on those bleachers there. So I thought I'd just mention that.
Did you have any fun researching this book?
I did.
Yeah.
This was so much fun. Yeah, I've enjoyed researching. I did enjoy researching Shula Summer, but this one I was actually able to find some players who had played and was able to get some good material from them. They all had scrapbooks. They were all very willing to share with me and had some great phone conversations. Actually met a few in person, and that was it was a lot of fun.
Do you have any pictures of the frog logo? Have you seen them?
No, I haven't. I've not been able to find anything of I really wish I could have. You look back and you see the old pictures, but typically it would just say Carrollton on the jersey, or maybe frogs. You might have a lot of times uniforms were kind of hard to come by, and so you may have just kind of mismatched uniforms. but hey, we're going to. I got a plain uniform, or I got one from another team, and I'm going to take the letters off and stitch Carrollton on the front. That kind of thing. So it's. I really wish I had a frog logo, though.
Absolutely, yeah. The Hornets, I think the African American school from the 50s and 60s here. I mean, they were Hornets too, right?
Yeah.
Did they take that, or do
we
have a lot of Hornets?
I guess you may just have a lot of Hornets. I mean, I've seen a few on my windowsill, a few over the years. So,
all right, time right now is 8:40. We're talking with John Bell about minor league baseball in Carrollton. We're again, this is part of our programming where we're trying to capture iconic moments and things in Carroll County's history as we celebrate 200 years of history in Carroll County. And today is the first day of Major League Baseball season. Cubs are on at 2:00. I think the Braves play tomorrow, though, right? Yeah, they're waiting until Friday for whatever reason. But John wrote a book called Pickle It. It's about minor league baseball of Carrollton, Georgia, and it definitely fun read, worth it if you can find it. Amazon has got it, but also Feathers and Twigs over. On Maple Street, right off of Maple Street. So,
right. Yeah.
All right. We'll take our first break, come back and continue our conversation with John Bell, Community Voice, brought to you by Tanner Health and Oak Mountain Academy.
Imagine a place where every heartbeat is monitored with the utmost care, where emergencies are met with swift attention, and where cutting-edge technology enables precise and timely treatments. At Tanner Health, every patient's journey is a testament to resilience, a story of strength, healing, and hope. We go beyond treatment to redefine what compassionate care truly means. That's Tanner Health. That's care redefined. Learn more at tanner.org.
Oak Mountain Academy specializes in a customized designed academic approach tailored to meet the needs of our families. Our lower division prepares students with the necessary foundation to build excellence. Our middle division provides students with over 15 course offerings, providing them with opportunities to explore their talents and gifts. Our upper division provides personalized academic journeys, allowing them to achieve their dreams. I'm Patrick Uran, head of school, inviting you to journey with us. For more information, visit us at oakmountain.us, where every path leads to purpose.
8:42. Welcome back to the Community Voice. My name's Colin Worthington. My guest this morning is John Bell. He's author of Pickle It, Minor League Baseball of Carrollton, Georgia, and kind enough to talk on the program this morning about baseball in Carrollton, Georgia. And, it's an excuse to talk baseball, being that it is the first day of Major League Baseball 2026. Again, John Bell's my guest. We did start talking about this, and I'm sure I threw you off and deterred off this. Was it when they were playing the Georgia-Florida League? Maybe it's 28?
So, yeah, it was the Georgia-Alabama League.
Georgia-Alabama League, okay. And then they dropped out of that. Why was that?
So, in 1930, there was a scandal across the league. They called it the ineligible class man scandal. That took place. So there were rules in this level of baseball that you could have players that had played at a higher level of baseball. Say, like this was Class D, the lowest level. You could have players that had played in Class C or B, A, all the way up to the major league. Sometimes you may have a former major leaguer as your manager, but also played. He may be 40 years old, and he still can play a bit. So, I do know in 1928, little side story on this, the manager was Paul Fittery, who had played in the major leagues for several seasons, and he just feasted on Class D batters as a pitcher on the mound at this level. Even though he was aging at the time, but he could still he won 20 games. Only lost 2 in that season. So anyway, but yeah, the ineligible class man scandal. Several teams, including Carrollton, had players that had played at a higher level of baseball, but they were not reporting it. So you could only have a certain number. You may be able to have 2, 3, whatever the rule was. But if you had more, you were in violation of the rule. So it was typically, the league was for introductory ball players who had just signed out of high school, may have gone to college.
Was it limited like 2 or 3 or?
Yeah, it was typically 2 or 3. Yeah. One could include your manager. If you had a player manager, you kind of got a buy on that. You may be able to get an additional one. But several teams had too many, and Carrollton dropped out of the league before the end of the season, and then a couple of other teams followed, and it kind of just fizzled the Georgia-Alabama League at the time.
That is a bummer. Hey, Jason Whitmire called in, and we were going to talk about this, Jason, but I'll go ahead and bring it up now since you put it up here. Didn't Kurt Russell's dad play minor league baseball in Carrollton?
Yes, he did. Bing Russell played in 1948. Got a photo of him in the book in the Carrollton uniform, which was really cool. I did communicate with him through the mail a good bit, several times with this. I think 4 or 5 letters.
Did you recognize his name immediately?
I saw the name, and it didn't dawn on me right at first, and I was like, I know this guy. I know the name, and so I looked it up, and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, he's an actor, and he's Kurt Russell's dad. Also, used to be a ball player named Matt Franco back in the 90s. Yeah. So he's Bing's grandson.
That's right. He played for the Cubs and maybe played for the Braves.
Spent some time with the Braves too as well. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so baseball genealogy there. But yeah, Bing was on Bonanza, played Deputy Clem Foster on there. And he also he had an independent league. We're talking about independent league teams. In the 70s, he had this team called the Portland Mavericks that Bing ran. Kurt actually played on this team, and grandson Matt Franco was a bat boy.
And that was with Oregon or something like that?
Yeah, it was.
Because there was a documentary on it about 5-10 years ago.
There was, yeah, very interesting. I wish that had been around when I was doing the research on this. I just would have liked to have seen it. I don't know if I would have gotten any material out of that, but, I read and absorbed as much information as I could when I was researching, and like I still do, and I go off on tangents. Same as when I'm talking.
Wait, about 20 players a year, we think?
Yeah.
Where would they stay?
So there were typically going to be boarding houses around town. They would stay there. Some would, maybe find a room to rent. It was and this was the norm throughout this class of baseball. There were boarding houses all over the place, and so they would rent a room. 2 guys may share a room, that kind of thing. And then accommodations on the road were either a hotel, which one player told me that he can remember 8 players in a room. There's only 2 beds, and then, they'd be sleeping on the floor. Another player told me that he played in Noonan, and he said whenever he would come to Carrollton, when there was a game they had in Carrollton, and they would stay and play, 2 or 3 games, they would put him up at the courthouse. In the second floor of the courthouse, there was a big open room, and they would put out cots, and the visiting team would sleep on the cots.
Oh, that's nice. It's accommodating.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I was like, you open the windows, you get a nice breeze at night. But
you talk about the ball players staying with, they stayed with families, right? Or
sure. Yeah, there were. Yeah.
If that continued. They may not do that much anymore, just because these ball players are millionaires at this point, minor league guys. But I grew up in West Virginia. I wasn't born, but I grew up there. Bluefield Orioles, they're a ball team there. I don't think they're Bluefield Orioles anymore. I think they got wiped out with the dissolution of leagues a couple 3-4 years ago. But Cal Ripken played for the Bluefield Orioles maybe in 79 or 80, and I know the family that he stayed with. These hooked up families who part of the chamber and made donations to the ball team and stuff, and so they had that. They took it as like, wow, we get to have a ball player stay with us.
Exactly.
They love that.
Yeah,
and again, Cal Ripken did stay with them. Did the ballpark have a name? Any of the ballparks, or they just said the ballpark?
They had several names. City Ballpark, the city, city baseball field, that kind of stuff. Nothing was really ever official, as I guess, as far as ballpark names.
Wasn't like the Grady Communications Ballpark.
Yeah, that would have been fun, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Hey, so was it 200 250 ball players throughout that 10-year?
So yeah, 250 ball players throughout the full length of the 10 years total, yeah.
And about 20 of them either played in major leagues beforehand or after, went on to play pro ball?
It was 19 actually that had played in the major leagues before or after they were in Carrollton.
Any names that really stand out? I mean, I don't know. Did Bing play in the pros?
No. He never. I think he made it up to Class C. But yeah, I think he realized acting was a better gig for him and worked out well for him.
Yeah.
So Charles Roberts, Red Roberts, is a name that a lot of people from Carrollton still remember. Every time someone brings up baseball or we talk about baseball, I still hear the name Red Roberts, even though it's been a number of years. He's the only Carrollton native or Carroll County native that has played in the major leagues. And a little fun tidbit there. He only played in 9 games with the Washington Nationals in 1943, but he did have an inside the park home run at Yankee Stadium. So it was on September 5th, 1943. It was the winning run of the first game of a doubleheader, and the Nationals won the game 3-2.
And what year was that?
That was 1943.
Okay.
Yeah. So the story is he hit a fly ball into the gap, short center field. Yankee Stadium had the ridiculously deep center field, not to take anything away from Roberts' speed, but the ball went by the center fielder, and Roberts just trucked on around the bases.
And during the 40s, there were a lot of Major League Baseball players that went off to serve.
There were.
Right? So that made that, and I think that's why a lot of those guys got to play, right?
It is, yeah.
To take that place. Dixie something out of Villa Rica. I thought he was native Carroll County. I could be wrong.
Possibly, yeah. I may have missed something there.
Is that a Brooklyn cap you're wearing?
It is.
Because he played for Brooklyn, and he was actually very racist initially.
Exactly.
And Jackie Robinson, but I think later on he saw the error of his ways and cleaned it up. So, but I've talked to a lot of people didn't know that from Villa Rica. I mean, I've talked to, it should be something. I don't know if it's okay to celebrate at this point, but he did. Yeah. I mean, he did turn his.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that, so I'm going to make a note of that. And
Dixie, I can't remember his last name, but I've talked about it several times. All right, time right now is 8:50. We're going to come back and conclude our program here this morning. We talk with the author of the book Pickle It, Minor League Baseball of Carrollton, John Bell, our guest, and. We got about 8 minutes left. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to post those on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page, and I'll try to bust those out during our last 8 minutes. But I think, as you can tell, we've got plenty to talk about and probably can talk for the next hour or so. All right, Community Voice brought to you by Tanner Health and Oak Mountain Academy.
Imagine a place where every heartbeat is monitored with the utmost care, where emergencies are met with swift attention, and where cutting-edge technology enables precise and timely treatments. At Tanner Health, every patient's journey is a testament to resilience, a story of strength, healing, and hope. We go beyond treatment to redefine what compassionate care truly means. That's Tanner Health. That's care redefined. Learn more at tanner.org.
Oak Mountain Academy is a vibrant community built on innovation, academic excellence, and a 64-year legacy of shaping community leaders. I'm Patrick Uran, head of school at Oak Mountain Academy, inviting you to visit the mountain and experience firsthand the passion, purpose, and personalized education that defines our school. Come see how our mission and vision come to life each day. For more information, visit us at oakmountain.us so that you can discover your journey on the mountain, where every path leads to purpose.
8:52, welcome back to the Community Voice. My name is Colin Worthington. My guest this morning is the author of Pickle It, Minor League Baseball of Carrollton, Georgia. His name is John Bell, and the book is available at Feathers and Twigs here in Carrollton, over there on Maple Street, and you can order it on Amazon, but get to the local guys first and check it out. It's a fascinating read. I mean, it's something that you'll refer to 500 times in your life, and it's cool to see all the names there, and you've got stats in there from each season and stuff. The research, I mean, how did you get all these stats? And I think there's some clippings from the local paper at that time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that would add a little flair
Absolutely.
to it, because reading the old newspapers, that was where I got a lot of material for like day-to-day occurrences. Statistics I got from the Spalding guides, Spalding baseball guides that have been published every year since way back.
And they publish those too.
And those are fascinating to read. If you're a stats guy, I'm a stats nerd. Mm-hmm. If you love stats, they're fascinating to read. But yeah, the stats were from there. The newspapers were a ridiculously great resource. And so I thought, I'm seeing all these great headlines. So I said, I'm going to incorporate these into the book, just to give people a little more of a feel of what I'm seeing here, because I wish I could just publish all the newspaper articles and, just it'd be about 1,500 pages. But hey, I would love it. I think others might.
You talk about the Spalding book. I mean, I'm guessing that came out every year.
It did.
And that'd be something, Street and Smith, when I was growing up, that was the one we looked forward to every year to come out, had the stats and the predictions. And but now with the interwebs, I mean, everybody has access to everything wherever they want it. And,
exactly.
But that book, I mean, that was gold. I probably still have 10 of them in a box somewhere.
And you can see the old Sporting News as well. So I'm a member of SABR, the Society of American Baseball Research, and with that membership, I get access to the old Sporting News all the way back, and it's fascinating to read.
What got you into baseball? I mean, if I talk about if you don't mind, I'll talk about myself. My father was a really big connection to us, and we were both born in Chicago, so we're big Cubs fans. And
very cool.
Well, it's something that just always connected with my father, and still do. My dad passed away in January this year, and so last year we were kind of we knew he was going out. We were hoping that the Cubs would pull it off and get one more World Series, because he only saw one Cubs World Series in his lifetime. Right. But opening day would have been his favorite day of the year. So I'll definitely think a lot about him today. But I'm guessing family, is that what got you into baseball?
It is. It was my dad. He was always putting games on. I do remember when the Superstation started playing the Braves way back. That was probably one of the best days of his life. It was so we were watching the Braves every night growing up. That's what did it, though. I mean, I got into it just watching the games, but then I realized, wow, there's a lot more you can actually read information about it too. I'd start looking at the box scores in the paper.
Yeah, the Sunday paper. Sunday paper, you get it.
Oh yeah,
and they'd list the batting in order of the batting average and things like that.
You knew what you were going to do all the way till late in the afternoon on Sunday, just with that page, right? It was that was what got me into the statistics part of it. I really liked reading stories about the games because I could almost recreate the game in my mind, not pitch for pitch, but just, occurrences. And I still read the old, you can find the game logs online. And it's fascinating to see, you pick any game, any team you like, just go in there, pick a date and read the game log. And it's almost like, oh, okay, I can see this game happening, unfolding right here in front of me.
And on radio back in those days, sometimes, I mean, they didn't actually read the log. They would just follow. They get information from somebody who was at the ballpark, maybe, and they do little fake hits. Hey, it's
exactly.
Right field, and do fake.
Exactly. Yeah. I'd love to do something like that.
Absolutely. Well, we don't need to anymore.
I know, right? Yeah.
Hey, we got
it would be fun though.
We got about 3 minutes left in the program.
Sure.
Have you? We talked about the logos. You didn't come across any of those, but does anybody locally, are you aware of, has items from this that they want to maybe love to? If we had a local museum or something like that, we'd love to put that stuff together and see it.
I have not found anything. I have a friend that has one jersey that has a C on it, and we think it's from Carrollton. Yeah. But other than that, no, I haven't been able to find any actual old equipment or. I have a couple of programs, that I've just acquired over the years. One was given to me after the book came out. This guy who had a ton of them from various teams. He's like, "Oh yeah, you did this book on Carrollton. I'm going to give you the Carrollton one." So,
are you working on anything right now?
I have an idea that I'm tossing around.
Oh, sure, because somebody will steal it.
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone's going to steal this idea. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, okay, it's going to take some research, but it's one of those things that I've been interested in for a while, and everything else I've done that I was interested in, found out other people were interested in it as well. So maybe this one's going to do the same.
And the research is half the fun.
Yeah, that's the biggest reward for me. Selling the books is great. I just like to share the information with everybody else, but the research is my joy in that.
John, I know you have a PowerPoint presentation which touches on some specifics of your book. Do you are you speaking in local groups or anything like that, or are you open to that?
I am open to that. Yeah, I haven't in a few years, but always, they come along every couple of years. A different civic organization will need, a speaker for a lunch or something like that, and I'm always willing to help out.
Or have the conversation about the Carrollton Ball later. I didn't know about that. We'll go talk to John.
Yeah, sounds good.
That's what they say for now. Hey, man, thank you for coming out this morning.
Thanks for having me.
And good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you.
And again, his book is Pickle It, Minor League Baseball of Carrollton, Georgia. You can get it at Feathers and Twigs or on Amazon. And Shoeless Summer about Joe Jackson, time he played in Americus, is a good book as well. So again, thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching and listening to this morning's Community Voice here on News Talk 1330. 1330, FM 106.3. We'll be back here tomorrow with more Community Voice at 8:30.